Everyone is talking about the stimulus that will come eventually. Yes, it will come for sure, but what does it mean for the stocks? This is the more important questions. And today we will talk about the stimulus in general. We will look into the S&P 500 index, which is, always a representation of the overall market. And then in the conclusion, we will talk about what I would do. So stay tuned. Let's go. If you like this daily content, make sure to smash that like button. I highly appreciate that. And let's talk about stimulus. What is it actually what so many people now on Wall Street, so many investors are waiting for? Why it's so important for the market? Now, for that, we need to start a little bit in the beginning of the year when we had a fantastic rally. Okay, an amazing rally. All-time highs after all-time highs. And then came an invisible enemy. Nobody have ever thought about it, that the next Black Swan event or the next crash will be triggered by something like a health crisis. Now, here we are, a couple of months later, and the stocks, or many stocks actually, either recovered fully or are even higher than before because customer behavior changed. However, we are still economy-wise very much affected by this, okay? Millions of people are jobless and getting jobless support in different kind of governments and different kind of cities. And what is important and was from the very beginning is that the government really helps here, okay? And this goes with the 101 of government, right? We are paying taxes. We are, building up this government, and therefore we having somehow a security in the government that if something happens, they can, help us a little bit financially, health-wise. It all depends where you live, obviously. In the US, more and more is rather private, and the government, is strongly helping companies and trying to help also people. In Germany, for example, it's more like a social state. So if you lose your job, you still have free healthcare. You always have a roof over the top of your head. So as you can see, it's totally different from government to government, from nation to nation. Now, in terms of the US, it's important because it's the biggest economy in the whole world, okay? So if they are struggling, boy, then let's sit down, because then it will be a very, 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 very tough ride. But this is not the reason why we are having the stimulus. The stimulus is really to help out the people really in needs, okay? And this is very, from a micro perspective, the person who lost their job and have to pay some bills, some rents, and so on, bring some money in for school, for health, and so on. And then it goes even further. The stimulus obviously have different dimensions and helping also economies in terms of the travel economy, for example, right? Which is hardly hit by this health crisis. So not only, the consumer or the little people will be helped, but also the companies that are hit the most with this situation. Therefore, that's why it's so important to get this, right? To get the checks to the consumer, because they in the end have two things to do, or they can do actually 2 or 3 things. First, they can actually spend the money, which can help the economy. They can pay their bills so they can, keep their home and so on. And then third is also they can save the money up for, maybe a time where the stimulus will eventually run out, right? I mean, not forever. We can go on and put, trillions and trillions of dollars that are either printed or taxpayers' money to help those people, because at one point it will be just too unstable to put so much money into the market, and money is not the solution to everything. It's in the end a solution to the health crisis, which hopefully we will see also the end of the tunnel in just a couple of weeks or months to go. And therefore it's important to understand that the stimulus is now very, very important. Maybe from all of the stimulus that we had before, this is the most important one. So I would love to look with you together into the S&P 500 chart. Why? Because I think it's the closest representation for, America, right? I mean, the best 500 companies in the US supposed to are in this index, right? From Amazon, Apple, McDonald's, Coca-Cola, everyone is inside. And it's get always updated if a company, seems to have the criteria approved, like for example Tesla would do, then they get in this index as well. And it's a very, very big index where also governments investing in it or big hedge funds and so on. So I just want to show you where we actually stand just from a chart perspective point. So we are just an absolutely crazy run. Look at this, from this April and March levels, we just went straight up until the latest all-time high were somewhere at the 1st of September. And as we know, September was not so of a great month. So we lost a bit since then, since the all-time high to the recent lows, which were somewhere at the 22nd of September. So let's have a look how much we lost. About 10%. Okay. So it can go quick down as well, as you can see. But then we recovered from that and we are somewhere around 3,500 points. Now, if you're looking into that from the recent lows to now, we are about 8% plus. So what I think, and let us one more thing, let us see how far away we are, just 1% of this recent high. So as you can see, what I think will happen is once they say, hey, we have a deal, then we are definitely having a new all-time high for the S&P 500, okay? There's no question about it. I think that this will be just running so much fuel into the market that is anyway so waiting, and then we can have a rally for, maybe, as you can see, the recent downturn, which was also healthy, a little bit of a healthy, was just from the 1st of September until the 22nd. So about, 3 weeks. And then, the tide turned again to going further up. So if we holding this trend now and we get the stimulus done, then I think we are having a really, maybe not far away from, 3,800, right? Maybe even if we are going really crazy this year, maybe we will be totally crazy and crash the 4,000 points mark. Now, if you made it so far into the video, I would like to ask you two things. If you didn't smash the like button yet, make sure to do this. And second, make sure to check out the join button, because then you become a member of this channel. And this have a lot of value and opportunity, because then with the second tier, Real Wolf, you can get access to the Discord channel. And on the third tier, you can get even the most important one-on-one with me. We can write over email or social media about your investment strategy, about your portfolio, and everything that a mentor can really do. I don't see any other YouTuber that is offering something even quite similar. Now let's go into the conclusion. When you're thinking about the conclusion of this video, it's all about what kind of trade scenario I can do, what kind of investment scenario I can do, okay? So first of all, if you are long-term, then you shouldn't be worried too much, okay? Then this is just another, injection of money to the market, which obviously, helped the market to rally. We talked about the S&P chart, and I think that this is interesting because it's really something that is really needed. It's expected. There's nothing worse for the market that if something is expected in some form of type and it doesn't come, right? So I think that we really need this as soon as possible so the market can rally towards the end of the year. It's also the seasonality for the market to go a little bit higher. There comes the election, yes, sure, but usually after the election, the market goes up 5%. Now, trades out of that. I think, first of all, some consumer trades could be quite interesting. And there I'm looking maybe into some retail, because people, when they get some money, and especially free money, then they rather like to spend it quite easily. So I think more like retail, you know, maybe Amazon, maybe some retail stores that really benefit from that, right? I wouldn't touch yet too much restaurants because now we're going into the cold season, so you rather stay at home, I guess, and you are joining and dining at home. So I think that the restaurants, it's still a hard play. And then obviously, depending where the stimulus will go, this industries obviously will get also a push short term. Okay, this is for all those short term investors out there. I think this is quite interesting. If you know, we see really an aid package for the airlines, this will be benefiting for all the airline stocks out there. You know, Rolls-Royce will maybe benefit also from that. So you can see here that something around those stimulus can be always picked up to make a fantastic trade long term. You know, I know, and you say, you know, long term there will be maybe the crash. The usual time for a crash, the average time, is every 10 years. And then you have to also understand that once the crash was there, it takes only 2 years to recover to pre-crash levels. And if you are not in, you will lose the 10 years until the next crash, and so on and so forth. So as you can see, you get it, right? And some stocks obviously recover much faster than 2 years. We have seen how fast the recovery and above was at the current crash in March. So, you know, you shouldn't be worried. I'm more of a long-term investor, as you might know, so I'm not worried at all. I will see that the stimulus is there, but this is just the gains for this year's. I'm more interested into the companies that change the world in the next 5 to 10 years.